First video in Area 18 on 3.19. And looking good. You can see the Bevic Convention Center in Invictus Fleet Week, May 19th through 26th. We're starting with Misk and Mirai, the newly launched combat, we suspect, light fighter that's got heavy Misk influences. Closed chat. I was just talking with everybody on this server about how I came off another server that did not have working elevators. So we had some really fun chats in there. People did try to do the death trick where you backspace to a hospital and hope that the elevators work there. But the elevators did not work at Maria Pure of Heart, just as much as they did not work at the Falstead Habs. So let's keep moving. This is the hospital here, if you haven't seen it in a while. There's actually been some really nice work by Turbulence crew on all those locations across Stanton, with these large planetary landing locations getting plenty of hospitals. As I maneuver my way through the crowds of NPCs to try to find the wonderful nature of getting to see the convention center. Honestly, when these start, this is some of my most exciting times in Star Citizen are when they're doing this prep time for the large events. I have been hanging out in the convention center, just basically when we get to the convention center, just hanging out in that main lobby, even if they don't have a test floor available, and just chatting with people, both in voice and also to a much larger extent in chat, just regular chat. And I gotta tell you, I really appreciate it. A lot of people come onto the PTU for the right reasons, and they're very active and very excited. A lot of people have an adventurous spirit, so we're okay about glitches. Even in the last server, nobody was cursing or anything like that. People were just having fun, and, you know, it's not the greatest thing you have to hop servers, but we figured it out eventually. And now begins the game of how do I get this tram to show the heck up? And do I need to use a different route to get there? So I'm looking at the Bevic line, and I see another Bevic line over at Riker Memorial Spaceport. So it's possible I'm going to have to... I really hope the trams actually show up on the other one. But if they function, then I'll be able to take it to Riker, and then run Riker over to Bevic. Now, you may have wondered where that platform is from if you haven't been to events here in the past. That platform is added during large events. Normally, it's closed up. I'm looking at the timer, and I don't see a tram. Oof. Yep. The elevator services were working, but the trams are not. That's a shame. So, I'm looking at 40 FPS. I'm seeing it in a bittersweet way. Top-end servers, I managed to find one without an elevator, with working elevators, but not without working trams. Let me come back to the Bevic line one more time. Wow, they're right. So the server FPS on this server is 21. It seems to be variable between 18 and 21, very quickly jumping up and down. Very interesting. And I mean, I'm seeing personal FPS of in the 40s, 30s, and 40s. As a reminder, this build is a 7800X3D, 64 gigs of RAM, running at 6,000 speed, on obviously DDR5 RAM, on an X670 motherboard with plenty of power, a 1200 watt power supply. And here comes the unfortunate part. All being hamstrung by a 2080 vanilla. Oof. Well, I did my part. I put it in chat that there was a tram. That way people aren't waiting on the other platform, or they give up, etc. Let's take a look at our server stats here. So before I, high, very high, 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 high. Even the volumetric clouds are at high. VSync. Let's see, do we have... No, I mean, it's looking good. The only thing I would like to get rid of is the show hints. The show hints are off. Good. Good. Cinematic cameras are on. Good. Okay. So the goal here is, I can see that this is saying this is the way to this convention center. So I do not want to get off this tram. Right there, it's saying the next stop is going to be Invictus, the Bevic Convention Center, where Fleet Week is occurring, and DefenseCon. Unless the sign was wrong. We're about to find out. Here we go. This is a beautiful course. So if you've been to Orison, some of the behind the scenes videos by the devs, they talked about how they make these courses by hand to try to make the experience like really exciting and different. And I have not seen this one in a long time. If not, this might even be a new version of this course. Bevic's certainly been improved. I'd have to pull up my old videos to see the old convention center. This is beautiful, just beautiful. So one of the things about Fleet Week is they're trying to advertise people to sign up for the UEE Navy and also do a PR thing. So you can see the naval oath here and the different stages of officers, pilots, the fleet, the carrier crew, all the different people that complete the work of the UEE Navy in different mechanisms. This guy looks like more like recon and combat type personnel here, probably tanker, like a vehicle person. So you can see that each team has their different roles. That statue looks good, but my favorite one so far was the one where they have a hand outstretched and all of them are being, basically it looks like you're trying to be pulled onto the statue with the part of it. One of the cool things about Fleet Week is that you can buy these in-game. So they are added to the store usually each year as well online. But you can buy these until the next patch. The next wipe, I should say. And if you look, they're only 820 UEC for these shirts. So you get the shirts, you can get the hats, And they're even cheaper. Oh no, oh yeah, they're a little cheaper. No wait, 820. Sorry, 820. And you can purchase them for every different. Ship manufacturer. So you can see some of the really cool ones over here, like Argos, like RSIs. You already saw Anvil and Aegis. You know, some of the heavy hitters in the military world, and the utility that is used by the fleet. One of my favorites, the Crusader Industry, very simplified logo. I really love this shirt. I actually have that in real life, a little with the logo with the name underneath it. Consolidate Outland. See, the NPCs are kind of really moving around. Here it is. Here is my favorite statue. So this is the one I really like. You can see they have the feet there. Pretty cool. Pretty dang cool. So there's Misk. And interestingly, so Origin. And interestingly, these are missing. So for Invictus Launch Week logos, usually it's usually a jacket, a bomber jacket that looks very, very cool. There's also, if you've gotten the tournament Best in Show jackets. It's the same look, but it has a different logo on it, and it has the UE Navy stuff on all over it. It looks fantastic. It's wonderful to wear. It's wonderful for machinima. It's a shame you can't wear it over a flight suit, unfortunately. But eventually I hope to see that happen. Anyway, the interesting thing about these is, for the past year or two, they were had to be shuffled in by players. So there was missions where players had to pick up and then deliver the jackets, and it was part of the in-game economy. So it's possible the reason they're not there is because of the in-game economy situation. Everybody bought them, or they haven't loaded in yet, and they're just not there because nobody's completing the missions. You can see them over there as well. They're dynamic, so the more are being completed, the more they are available. Also, it's potentially that they don't want to spoil a surprise of a new type of jacket. Or clothing piece or something. I like this scrolling feature here on the kiosk. I don't remember seeing that before. So I'm holding down F while I'm scrolling, really. And by the way, this place is incredibly optimized. I'm looking at my FPS. I'm doing about 45 to 60 FPS. I am very pleased with that. So you can see some of the work that they really put into this. They've just done incredible work. I like these little models. Looks like the F7CR, the Hornet Tracker Edition, with that radar. And NPC that's wandering past. I don't know why the heck a Cutlass is up there, but sure. And then a Retaliator. It's not a red, Cuddy red either. It's a turret up there of a Cuddy black or something. Interesting. Once again, the recruitment push at UEE Navy. They will probably staff this as well. This is just as much as like a thing to like really recognize the veterans of the different wars, and then also, damn, the floor is not available right now. I'm going to check the other elevators though, just because I'm like that. Sometimes I've gotten lucky in the past on certain things. Who knows? Could be glitched on that side of the room. But yeah, so this is the main area. As I said before, we've done this before where the lobby is the only thing available. Everything is being stress tested, but the actual floor is not available yet, or it's already been completed for its testing for the night of the actual expo floor. If you've never been part of these type of events, there's usually a day or two that are a specific manufacturer or group of manufacturers. For example, MISC and the new company Mirai is going to be the first day. And then each day after, you're going to see different people along an entire week. And then it culminates in Drake Defense Con, which is usually held at a different location than the actual launch week. and you do not see all this launch regalia. Last year, it was particularly rough on the UEE Navy, where Drake booked an entire piece of Augusta Dunlow Spaceport. And they put on the wall when you first came in, when the fleet leaves, who will keep you safe, or something like that. And basically, it was a shot at the UEE Navy, like, they can't be everywhere. Defend yourself. Take care of yourself, you know, that kind of mentality. Yeah, it was particularly brutal. And it is what it is. Drake's got a point, you know, where the balance of the UEE Navy and everyone else is. Especially because you got to remember, though, UEE Navy was scorned Drake when they really wouldn't let them be part of the event. Looks like there are actual drinks in stock, but the NPC's not functioning. That's meant to sell them. That's kind of the problem here. So anyway, when Defense Con is in session, it's a little different flavor, and it's usually in a different place. And that's as far as it goes. And it's an exciting time. I think IAE is a little more of a less militaristic, well, it is, less militaristic event. So I think that's more the whole community gets together for IAE. But Fleet Week has its own flavor that's really fun. And seeing the whole fleet and the 909 Reckless Squadron starting to show up to perform, and some of the events and in-game contracts to complete to support the event are quite nice. There's something to be said for that. I cannot get over this FPS. It's absolutely fantastic. Just look at that polish. I mean, granted, I wish I was on the floor, but it's not a terrible thing. That's like the third or fourth time I've heard him talking about keeping the convention center stim free. I'm curious what the deal with that is. Let's talk about the Devarin Wars. Talk about the Mezzers. In general, there's an old saying, the Mezzers mess things up. Whenever you see a name like this, the family tree of the Mezzers, and all the leadership that was under the Mezzer regime, and let's put it this way, they weren't a meritocracy. They were about loyalty at all costs and their family and everything else. There's a lot of bad blood there in the history. Outlining the whole Invictus celebrations on Synth World. Yeah, that's going to happen. Synth World's never going to get done. Terra, that's more reasonable. Astromedics from the Fire. So, the Apollo Medevac is based on the Astromedics series, and it's supposed to be outfitted like as this special version of the Apollo. There was even a small Astromedics video game that you could play on the website to unlock the ability to pick up the Medevac, which has better armor, has 2 missile launchers, and it has a nice paint job compared to the Triage, the Apollo Triage. It is slightly more money, but it's recommended. Do keep in mind, armor does change your characteristics, especially maneuvering in Atmo. It will be a little weaker than the Triage, but I mean, it's really hard to argue with extra armor, 2 extra weapon systems, and a nice paint job. It's really hard to argue with. It's a pretty nice ship. I really hope the Apollos come in soon, especially with the discussion of piloting remotely operated systems or something like that, where basically it's hinting at the past couple months they've been working on drone work. And that was the only hindrance stopping the Apollo from being more developed, was the fact that they need to have drones that function in order for the Apollo to do its job. John Crow himself said they did not want to bring the Apollo in without the drones. They have these medical stretcher-style drones that can lift people out of wrecks and lift them off the ground and bring them into the ship, is basically the deal. Even the door control is not actually... Like, this is supposed to be the door open button. Oh, wait, there it is. Okay. Let's take a look here a second. I'm squandering this beautiful server FPS. That's some of the highest server FPS I've ever seen in the game. It's been wavering up of like 25 all the way up to like close to 30. And I'm using it to try to fiddle with an elevator to try to sneak onto this, to the sales floor. The show floor. Okay. Well, it is what it is. I think that this is pretty interesting. It's just a shame that there's not too many people other than, you know, dancing people here right now. Let's take a look at chat again one more time.
Flight asks that you be courteous to your fellow passengers. Keep conversations and mobiglass to a reasonable volume. The share tram now leaving the station. Stand clear of the doors.
Thank you for visiting Bevic Convention Center. Have a great rest of your day. And welcome to the Bevic Convention Center, our Corp's leading destination for live events and refreshing fun. While everyone is welcome to the Bevic Convention Center to enjoy a day of refreshing fun, their trash and litter is not. Thank you for doing your part to keep the convention center clean.
Tram now approaching. Tram now leaving the station. Stand clear of the doors.
Don't let hunger and thirst slow you down. While enjoying your day, be sure to treat yourself with a stop at one of Bevic Convention Center's refreshment stands. Bevic would like to thank all our guests for keeping the convention center a STEM